Hello and welcome. My name is Greatman Ayilara, and anywhere you're watching me all over the world, I bid you a special welcome as I begin to settle you in to our topic for today, understanding decree and authority without religion. When you understand these two things, you'll be able to maximize them in this plane and on this planet without you consulting any pastor, any imam, any dibia, any babalawo, any idol, whatever they call themselves. And the moment you get to that aspect or that plane or that level in your reality, in your divine reality, what happens to you is that the words have been saying that you are a God is not strange to you anymore. You internalize it and you take responsibility for it. And what happens is you become what you have understood or what you now understand that you are. I see a lot of people who have conflict with the things that we say on this platform every single time we come online, and every now and then. They are of the opinion that there is no way a human can be God. And then there is no way we can assume the role of the author of our own lives, because we must reckon with the fact that someone created us, and whoever created us are to be the authority over our lives. And I say many times that, on the contrary, when we look at it very well, we will know that human being created gods, and human being bow to the gods that they have created. I was talking to my very good friend yesterday, and I said, have you ever bothered to think that irrespective of how the Quran wrote it, how the Bible wrote it, how you can conceptualize it, whatever it is that you call God and created everything, actually met the material with which he created everything here. Said the Spirit of God over the water, roam over the water, because the earth was null and void. And from the water, from the sand that the Spirit of God met here, this Spirit of God started creating the trees, the plants, the animals, and even the human. And for once, I said, did you bother to ask the material that this God created you, the animals, the tree from? He didn't create those materials. He met them here. So, as it was written in the Bible, in the Quran, God was an accidental discharge from nothing else. It was an accident that happened on this planet and in this universe. He saw raw materials and he started creating stuff from it, if he created at all. So the way they painted was that he met something here, and whatever he met here, he started making use of them. This God met something here. He met the water here. He met the sand here. He only needed to organize them and also to create something out of them. So what made the water and the sand that this God met on this plane and in this universe? And he started governing and started becoming a God over. Have you ever thought of that? So that's why I said the idea of God is man's mental production. It is we thinking in our mind that there must be someone supernatural, super intelligent, awesome more than us. Because even if I ask an elephant, who is God? An elephant will describe to me, not a human being. An elephant will describe to me an elephant, another elephant that is bigger, having maybe like 5 trunk or all that. But if I ask you as a human being, who is God? What you're going to tell me, you're not going to tell me that God is a bull or a calf or an animal or a tree. You're going to tell me that God is a superhuman seated somewhere who is more intelligent than you are. So every single thing, look at whatever it cannot conquer, look at the intelligent aspect of them as their God. Can I say it again? Every single one of us, be it animal, be it the plant, be it this and all that, they look up to what is more intelligent than them as their God. You human being will look up to a human being that is more powerful, more bigger in size and all that as your God. While animals will also look at higher animals as their God. But we want to go back to basics today. Religion is not going to surface here today. Jesus will never have power over you today. Muhammad will have no say over your life today. Shango, Ogun, Oya, they will not have a say because we are putting all of them to shame today. I will take you a little bit step back, because when you know where you're coming from, you know where you're going to, and you'll be able to maximize where you are right now. I've done a teaching on the pagan gods and the Christian God or the Muslim gods, that you created all of them. And I took you back to the memory lane of when the ancestors were living, when the Asians were building civilization, and how powerful they are. I'm going to do a recap. They were that powerful that they do not need a word to communicate in their civilization. They were so magnanimous in divinity that mere looking at you, you can read into their mind. They were communicating using what we call an absolute and more technological advanced infrared, or let's say Wi-Fi. So in that state of spirituality, they cannot get themselves wrong. In that state of divinity where human beings were gods, there is no misconception. There is no, I didn't get you right. There is no, I didn't get what you're saying. There is no, I didn't hear you right. You will hear everybody loud and clear without a single word coming from their mouth. And so there was nothing like noise pollution. There was nothing like sound pollution. Nothing like that. Mankind were living and coexisting with the animals without anyone feeling so threatened by the other. And yes, we had our forefathers and our ancestors taming the animals. The animals were not at first, not even ferocious. They weren't ferocious because we were treating them with their own respect that is due them. So we could have a cheetah as a dog at home. We could send a dove a message. We could speak to a parrot. We could communicate with an owl. We could actually dwell in the same place with a snake. Everyone respects themselves. There is no noise pollution. The sound wave on this planet was not so much of a life threatening to another animal that they had to now react. The mode of communication was not with voice or with sound. Everyone just respect each other. But when sound came into being, there's a need for someone to be heard. And then this rivalry sprouted up, where the lions had to roar to establish its own authority, where the elephant had to just screech to establish its own authority. That this organization began to bring about something called turbulent coalition between the creature on this planet. And then there was separation, because people were beginning to now encroach in other people's kingdom, because they feel that if I tell you to go, and go means go to me, but go could mean something else to someone else, then violence came into being. And people began to bring about the state of war. And they developed languages. They came about with symbols, sign symbols. They came about a way of communicating with themselves. And in communication with words, there is misconception. That's why you see a lot of hula baloos in our world, where someone actually wrote this, but what he meant is not what you are reading, meaning it's not the meaning you are reading to what he has written. So they need to explain themselves and all that. And if you're not getting them, they become violent. And then war break out. Namaste means namaste. To me, it means bowing down to the divinity in you. To some people, it means I worship you. To some people, it means I respect you. To some people, I just can only do this to my mother or my father, not to anybody else. Now, because we put a language on it, there is a lot of misconception in our world. And when there is misconception, war will break forth. And when mankind began to use sound as a means of communication, they began to misunderstand each other. I grew up in a home where when my father tapped his leg, I know what it means. The same leg is tapping, I know it means something else. There is a rhythm, there is a frequency. I know what it means. He's tapping the same leg and he's giving me different kind of messages at every single time. So you could visit us in our house then, and you are a visitor, and my father is talking to you, and I go to get water for him, and you're asking him, are you thirsty? You say yes. Did you ask for water? And I say yes. When did you ask for water? We were busy talking. You don't know, but we are so in tune, in frequency. Children of these days, people growing up in these days, if you are not so emotional, if you are not aggressive, if you don't tap them, if you don't beat them, if you don't do this, they have lost out on that touch of what we call divine reality. Now, in those ancient days, you could easily know if someone meant evil for you, or someone is coming to hurt you, or if you are expecting a visitor. You could know. You would almost know what is going to happen tomorrow. Because things were not happening to them. Things were happening for them. How I wish we can go back to that state. Then your pastor will lose his job. Your imam will lose his job. Your yogis will lose their job. Your spiritualists will lose their job. Because what they call spiritual consultation is not someone's job. It is a reality and the nature of every single creature living on this planet Earth. And that's why I say you can speak to the animals. If only you understand what it means to be quiet. In quietness is your strength. But have you learned the art of keeping quiet? You have not. We will take that some other day. What I briefly want to talk about today, before I hit the road to go feed people, is this. Decree and authority was not something of a spiritual gift. I say it again, decrees and authority is not a spiritual gift. It is not a privilege. It is not something that is handed, it is not something that someone fought for to hand over to you. It is what you are. It is what is inside of you. It is your nature. It is just absolute what we call human. That is what humanity means. But it's very easy for you to mistake decree and confession for one another. Decree is outrightly different from confession. While you are decreeing and you can use the instrument of confession, you might confess and not decree. Because decree comes with authority, knowing and living in the authority you are believing or you have believed that you have. And confession comes with leveraging on someone else's authority. So confession, what you get from confessing is a privilege, is a gift given to you according to the disposition of the one whose authority you believe in. For example, if I am a king, I can only send my servant to go confess to the world what my decree is. So what I do as a king is a decree. What my servant do to people is a confession of my decree, helping me announce my decree, does not mean you have the authority to decree like me. Unfortunately, religion will reduce you to the spot of confessing instead of you decreeing. You must have read in your Bible that you shall decree a thing and it shall what? It shall come to pass. How many things have you decreed? Because those who told you you can decree a thing also told you that you only need to confess. How do they tell you to confess? They tell you to confess in the name of another person. Assuming that the person you are confessing in his name is not pleased with you, or you have not met the prerequisite of the person you are confessing in his name, or on his behalf, or under his authority, you are a failure. But when you learn how to decree, what you do is to withdraw the authority from the one they have actually given it to, or the one you have relinquished it to, and own it. Then you become a king, a prince, a queen, a god on this planet. And so you believe whatever you say is reality. The ability for you to focus your mind, your emotion, your energy, and your thought towards a singular thing, to the point where they become the things you say out of your mouth, is what we call a decree. And everyone have that ability, except you are lazy, except you are easily distracted. Everyone can decree and it can come to pass. Doesn't matter if you're a Muslim, doesn't matter if you're a pagan, doesn't matter if you are whatever it is you think you are. I don't even care if you have qualification or not. The moment you have your emotion, your mind, and your mouth in one singular direction, your emotion, your mind, and your mouth in one singular direction, your mind, your emotion, your mouth in one singular direction, anything is possible. But look at you right now. Your emotion is thinking about food. Your mind is thinking about survival or getting a job. And your mouth is talking about certainty. You are confused. Your emotion is thinking about sex. Your mind is thinking about money. Your mouth is talking about victory. You are confused. You can't get what you're looking for. Until what is in your mind and in your emotion is what is coming out of your mouth, your decree ability cannot come into play. That's why you can give so many confessions and get nothing in return. But you can give just a little decree and things begin to work in your favor. So because they know that the world is filled with distraction and they do not know how to help you decluster or declutter your body, your mind, and your mouth to focus on the same thing. What they tell you is, you are broken, you are a slave, you cannot make it. Let's give you a placebo which you can leverage on. And that is the name, the scripture, the water, the Goya oil, the mantle, the feet washing, the cross, the building. Because they know when they tell you if you can do this, you will get that. So when you are in the building, your mind is in the building. Your emotion is in the building. Your mouth is in the building. And at that moment, you can leverage on 2% of your spiritual ability. Would you live in the building forever? How many hours do you stay in that building? How many hours in a day do you carry that book called the scripture? Compare the number of hours you are without the building and without the book to the number of time you have lived on this planet. If you can get your emotion, your mind, and your mouth in place at all of these times, the larger time of your lifetime, you will not be where you are today. It's beginning to look as if decreeing is something technical, complex. It is not. Decreeing starts with this knowledge first that you are a God. Until you get to that spot where you believe you are a God, you will never be able to take responsibility. And whatever it is that you are looking for, you will never be able to own it, even if it's staring at you in the face. So if I have a child and someone is maltreating that child, what is the child going to do? Run back to me to report to me for what? For backup, to fight for his or her right. But if I have a child and I'm either absent or I'm dead, what is going to happen to that child when the child is bullied? The child will become his own father and his own mother at that point in time. It will not waste time to come back home for a report, for a backup. It will become what he is expecting me to do for him. You get? So right now, what he needed is a backup energy, a confidence to fight off this bully. But because I'm in existence, it will not be able to maximize that potential. Even though it is in him, it will keep running to me for a backup. But the day this child knows that I'm absent in his life, either through the means of absconding or death, that child becomes his own father and his own mother. And at that time, whoever bullies that child will learn the best lesson of his or her life, because they will not try it again. That is what happens to you. When you keep thinking that there is a God in heaven you will report people to, there is a God in heaven who will do for you what you need to get done in this earth, there is someone somewhere who will take responsibility for your life, you live not like a human, you live not like a divine being. You live a totally useless life. You practically become what they call a feedback channel. They give you information, you give feedback. They give you information, you return feedback. In the midst of it, you are not defined. And you are nobody. Nobody at all. Animals can do better than you do. At least before they give up, they bark first. They give a fight. The basis of knowing your authority on this planet is knowing that you are a God. Someone was asking me that, but then, what about where we are going to? Who is in charge of where we are going to? And the singular question was, what about where you are coming from? Who was in charge of where you are coming from? And he couldn't answer me because he didn't know where he was coming from. Do you know where you're coming from? Do you know how you got to this planet? This plane where you are right now? Do you know how? You don't know. You existed in a darkness. And in darkness you return back to, until it is your turn to see the light again. And this light you think is light, it's not even the light. The light that is the real light is inside of you, not the solar power, not the solar energy. I said, whoever does not have a place they are coming from, have no place they are going to. And that argument was won over within few seconds. Until you can prove to me that you came from a place, then I will believe you are going to a place. But if you don't know where you're coming from, do you know where you're coming from? Any recollection of where you were before you came to this planet Earth? As a matter of fact, you have been on this planet for close to 2-3 years before you began to know that you are here. So many children don't have a memory that is retentive until they get to the age of 2, 3 or so. So why do you think so much of yourself, too highly of yourself, too particular of yourself? Why don't you do this planet Earth and let it be? So we talk about the authority. When you check your Quran or you check your Bible, the one you created as God also gave you and relinquished to you every single thing called authority on this planet. But what about those who are not religious? Those who are not Christians, those who are not Muslims? Are we saying that authority is not applicable to their life too? There is this longing and this passion in all mankind to dominate, to rule, to become a god, to have authority, and have a hold of every realm they find themselves. Every single one of us, we were not taught. That's the only thing we were not taught. That's the only thing we were not taught. It is in your nature. It is what is called humanity. It is simply you, the ability to dominate, to subjugate, to have a hold of something. It is simply what is called humanity. And that is authority. Authority is not belonging to a king that is crowned or a queen that is on the throne. Authority does not belong to a God that was created or a Yeshua that was elevated. Authority is humanity. And only those who take authority becomes God. But the concept of being a God is so strange to you. There is no way someone is going to tell you that and you are going to be able to internalize it, because at the age of hypnosis, which is the age 0 to age 7, you have been conquered to see yourself as ordinary human being. And they gave you one name. They call you mortal man. Mortal man means a vulnerable, a dispensable, a next to nothing creature. If we are told mankind that they are God, we will have a lot of intelligent people on earth today. But what we did is to tell mankind that they are mortal. We use the obvious event of recycling as a permanent definition of our nature. What do I mean by that? We use the obvious event of exiting this plane and coming back again. That's what I mean by recycling. If you think the world is ending, you are the one that will end. It will be unto you according to your faith. But will I one day give up this body? Yes, I will. But I'm sure that I will come back. Not in this body, not with this experience. But spirits don't die, right? So we use that certainty and the obvious event of recycling to define our permanent nature as mankind. So they call you mortal. Mortality means something that can die, something that is prone to death, something that can be deleted, something that can be disengaged at any time. We use it as a way to define our nature. You are not mortal. You are gods. You are a god in your own corner. You have the authority of a God in you. And until you internalize that thing, that come. What I'm asking this God to do for me, I as a God can do it for myself. You will not be able to do tremendously awesome thing in this world. Check out every single person in history that has crossed beyond the line of an average man. If you check into the way they don't think like you. They think like a God. They think with the mindset of there is no impossibility. If I want it, I need to do it. Every single tyrant that has lived on this planet lived as a God. And every single change maker that has lived on this planet, they live as a God. And you know, the moment they internalize their God concept and God nature, what is next is a decree. You cannot see authority without a decree. So with a decree, they tell human beings, go and kill each other, and human beings go to kill each other. With a decree, they say, exterminate this particular continent, and they go to do that. And you'll be wondering, why do people fear this man? Why are people listening to this man? Why is he able to do what he wants to do and get away with it? Because of one thing you refuse to embrace, the concept of being a God. The moment you realize that you yourself are the God you are looking for, you will not be able to do everything you are looking for. And so I hope to raise children that will terrorize the children of those who raise their own as slaves. I hope to raise leaders who will push people to the point of provocation against every form of injustice and every form of slavery. Your decision is yours to make. To understand decree, you must understand authority. To understand authority, you must internalize the Godship in you. What is this God? Immediately I ask, you start thinking, God is omniscient, is omnipresent, is omni this, omni that, omni blah, 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 blah thing. But do you know that you can know all things too? Not because Christ is strengthening you, but because the greatest database that will house the information you are looking for, either to make money, to get the right spouse, and all of those, is not located outside of this universe. The money you are looking for is not found in the sky. Have you ever thought of that? The convenient and beautiful life you are craving for is not found in the sky. It is here, with you here. And only those who are here can make it happen here. Not some sky god whom you have never seen, whom you dread so much that you become so useless on this planet. And the moment you come to that conceptualization that what I need is found where I am, then nothing is too difficult for you to do. In your moment of meditation, what do you think about? Is it how to make egusi soup and apple? In your moment of meditation, what do you think about? Is it how to make money off other people? Or how to be useful for humanity? You see, what you need to get to where you are going to is not going to be found outside of who you are. I say it again. What you need to get to where you are going to will never be found outside of who you are. But until you become you, nobody will pay you for your service. Isn't that why you pay your pastor? For being the God over your life. And you see them talk to you with confidence. And they vow and they swear and they are so sure that this is fact. Why? They internalize the concept of being a God, only that they now became a God over you. So what you need to get to where you are going to can never be found outside of who you are. And you know the best thing you are is a God. A God over the water, a God over the sun, a God over the moon, a God over the air, a God over the plant, a God over the animals, a God over every single challenges, circumstances, situation, and others of your life. As the challenges don't come to people who know they are God, and they will be downtrodden and heartbroken because they have what it takes. And the more of God you know you become in your mind, the more tussle that you have to prove yourself that you are this God. This is how your ancestors lived. They lived with so much mindset that nothing is impossible. That in their time, nothing was impossible. I'm telling you that with a decree in their mouth, they can change the gender of the baby in a womb. Oh no. They can detect the kind of child their wife will carry at the moment of conception. As in, a man knows that this particular sexual intercourse is going to result to a baby in those times. They are so aware. They are so aware. They are so divine. They are so spiritual. They are so there that you can fool them. You cannot fool them. And they don't need to consult anyone So I'm trying to spur you back to what you are, not these slaves that you have become. Not this kind of, I don't know. So you can go to church or mosque and all that and confess. Or you can be a human and decree. Because you know you are not mortal. Because you know you are God. This is why a mother will wake up in the morning and put her hands on her children and prophesy into their life what they will become. Knowing that power, should you use that mouth to say the wrong words, or should you use it to always say the right words, knowing that your words carry power and it is a decree? A person who knows that he is in the place of authority and he is a God, there are things he will move away from. Note, I'm not telling you how to live your life, but I'm telling you can maximize it if you try these things. They don't drink to stupor, because at the moment of being drunk, they cannot take charge of their mental space, their mind, remember, their emotion, remember, their mouth. Those three ingredients of decree or declaration is seized from you, taken away from you at the moment of being drunk or drinking to stupor. To avoid the temptation of drinking to the point where I cannot take charge of my body and cannot be intentional in what I say, I don't even drink at all. At all. You can drink. I'm not saying don't drink. I don't drink. And I'm not against you if you drink. Drinking is not a sin to anybody. But the dividends of taking in external substances, these chemical substances that set you off your feet and make you become jittery and not in control of the very many ingredients of being an authority over a situation. I'm saying, why do you take them in? Why do you take them in? As simple as the art of lying is, it relinquishes or it diminishes your power and authority to decree. A king that says yes when he means to say no, how do you respect such a king? I ask. So when you train your mind and your tongue and your emotion to always go in the direction you don't want to go, whenever you mean to go that direction, they don't mean to go there with you. And there is this particular disparity within you. You have conquered yourself, you have overcome yourself, you have defeated yourself inside. So when you learn to say yes when you mean to say yes and no when you mean to say no without mincing word, you are a product of this authority and you can decree a thing, because your body, every single cell in your body, your emotion, every single compartment of it, your mind, every single section in it, your mouth, every single spittle and fluid in it, knows now that you don't play. You are here to say what you, and whatever you say is what you mean, and they work together. So all things begin to work together for your good now, because you are true to yourself, either in the secret or in the open. But look at yourself right now. Look at the way you have been trained to lie vehemently, to lie as if nothing else can be close to the truth. And then you want to decree? There is no way the nature will respect the words of your mouth. It's not going to happen. There's no way the nature, the universe, the cosmic forces of nature will respect the things that comes from your mouth, because either you like it or not, say this universe is the one that knows what you do in the secret. If in your mind you mean to say yes and you say no, you are unserious. If in your mind you mean to say yes and you say no, or your mind you mean to say no and you say yes, you constantly defeat yourself to the point of no value. So when it comes to the terrain and the realm of authority, your decree is nothing but a water falling on the floor. It will be swallowed up immediately. You see, that's what they call living holy life. But I'm not telling you to live holy. I'm simply telling you that you can be a king if you carry yourself and believe yourself to be one. You can be a God if you carry yourself and believe yourself to be one. So what kind of a God are you? When we keep stuff with you and we don't mate it with you. What kind of a God are you? When your life is constantly in opposite direction of your words, what kind of a God is that? Those things your forefathers don't do it. They don't swear false swearing. They don't say yes when they mean to say no. They stand by their words and they mean it all the time. So the day they need the word to work for them, they don't need to beg one God because they are God themselves. Whatever it is they say, they mean it. So I beseech you today, listening to me, make it a policy to point at your grave before you go back on your words. Don't be like your father in the Lord. Don't be like your pastors. Don't be like your imams. Don't be like those ones that say one thing today and say another thing tomorrow. Those men, they don't deserve your respect. Those men, you need to stone them to death. Those men, you don't even need to listen to them. Point at your grave before you go back on your word. You know what that means? You are willing to die to make sure that what you say is true at all point in time. First is to understand that you are a God. Internalize that Godship in you. Second is to be true to yourself and to others at all times. And avoid every single thing that will, I don't know the right words to use, that will condescend you or lower your value. Some is not alcohol. Some is not chemical abuse. Some it is money. So a person occupying a position of authority must be plain and be true about his weakness. Knowing that weakness is not something that you do as a sin. Weakness is what takes your authority from you. Some it is money. The moment you flash them the cash, their mind begin to work like a computer with a virus. Their mouth begin to shiver. Their emotion begin to shake. Some it is women, sex, just sex. You want to be a God? You have to know that there are things you need to leave behind. Your fathers left this thing behind. And if they will marry two wives, they don't marry one in the open and marry one in the secret. They complain. And your mothers are ready to swear by anything in this universe that they have not cheated on your fathers. Can you do the same? You want to be a God. Can you see the reason why most people prefer to run to Yeshus or their pastors as the one who contract the life of authority for them? Because they cannot do these things. So we want to decree a thing and we want it to be yea and amen, but then we keep saying no when we mean to say yes. And we keep going near the subject of our weakness and not even doing anything to overcome them. Understanding decree and authority. As I begin to round up, I have a lot to say to you on this one, but I'm going to round up now because I'm running out of time. How much of understanding do you have about other elements in this particular planet? How much of understanding do you have of them? The other neighbors you have on this universe, how much of them do you understand? Do you understand water? Do you understand the sun? Do you understand the moon? Do you understand the air? Do you understand the plants? Do you understand the animals? Do you understand the sound? So, someone was asking, when you go into meditation, and you are there for like 5 hours, 6 hours sometimes. What is it you talk to? What is it you're thinking about? I said, I'm not thinking about something that is in the celestial world. I think of the things I live with, and how I can maximize them. So I can be in my moment of meditation, and I want to learn how birds get their flying power. In thinking about birds, I can pick eagle or a dove. I don't have to take in too much. I don't need to know about all the birds. The one I can think about for a moment. Thinking about a dove, I can choose to go into, what about the temperament of a dove? Why is it gentle? How does it fend for itself? Or what about the texture of the feather of a dove? What about the way it lands? What lesson can I learn from that? I don't think about the temperament on the day I'm thinking about the feather. I don't think about the feather on the day I'm thinking about the way it takes off or it lands. I don't think about the way it takes off or it lands on the day I'm thinking about its reproduction. Now I'm still thinking about one single bird. I'm talking about birds, I'm thinking about one single bird, and I'm thinking about one aspect of one single bird. I don't want to distract myself. And in thinking about the temperament of a dove alone, I can spend the rest of my life thinking and learning from that I might not even have time for humanity. That is meditation. Meditation is not bringing everything into a table and begin to eat a buffet. You will run your stomach. You will run mad. Meditation is picking one aspect of life at a time, understanding them. So when you are able to harness the gift of nature around you, then this very nature becomes your best friend and you can send them a message. I did a teaching on how you can heal yourself with water. This is water. The most common to all. And it is commonly believed that it doesn't have enemy. What do you understand about water? Let's do a practical. This is water. I don't call it ordinary water. I just call it water. Why? Because this water has its own emotion. I'm trying to practice something with you. This water has its own emotion. This water contains its own memory. This water has benefits I can harness. I will not disrespect this water by calling this water ordinary water. When I call it ordinary water, it becomes ordinary for me. Now, are you understanding the decree now? I call it water because water is water. I try to understand the molecular structure and the configuration of water because it has its own memory and its own cells. It has molecular structure. And in each of this molecular structure of the water, you can store something in it as a memory. And water never forgets. Water never fails. Water does exactly what you tell it to do. Water saves life. Water is simply what life is all about. Come now, if you are a water and I say all these things to you, what will you do? Will you perform what I tell you to do or not? You will, because I don't treat you like a non-living thing, because I understand your value, because I've taken time to study you, because I know what you can do, because I tell you what you can do, because I know you have emotion, because I treat you with respect. I do not call you ordinary. And this is what I now do. I tell water, as I drink you today, every toxin in my body will be washed away today. And as I drink you today, every single spittle in my mouth, the moment I use it to produce sound, becomes yea and amen. As I drink you right now, the vision I lost out on, the dreams I cannot fulfill, I begin to receive a new encouragement to do that. I know you can listen to me. That's all. Do you need your pastor to do that for you? Do you need your imam to do this for you? Did I call the name of Jesus? Am I shouting Tabati Adawa Abilabi? Am I still shouting any Koreanic? What did I do? I simply exhibited my humanity by interacting with another co-habit and co-creature of this planet I found myself. And I put it to work because I did not treat it as ordinary. And because I know that I have authority, and in the mentality of my authority, I believe already everything I say to this water, it stores it and it's going to fulfill it. And do you know why I love water so much? It gets to every part of your body, even in your brain. Water gets there. Imagine you store a certain kind of memory in water and you allow it to flow through your body. So you call it cold water. You call it ice water. You call it warm water. You call it hot water. You call it ordinary water. You bastardize it. You gave it a name that is not its own. You don't treat it with emotion. You only use it for your own satisfaction. So many of you remember water only when you are thirsty. If you were water, how would you behave? So someone reached out to me all the way in America and say, I'm going through a lot of challenges and all that. And I know what this person needs is courage to be able to look inward. And I say, I don't know what I can do for you, but can we decree together? And he said, yes. I said, I know you have a very low faith because you are discouraged right now. And I'm going to give you a placebo. Do you agree? He said yes. Can you get water? I said yes. And he got water. And we spoke to the water. And because he believed the word spoken to that water, and I told him, don't treat water like anything. Just treat it like with respect. And he drank the water. And he said, when I drank the water, I received a new level of courage. I said, the courage where they talk about now inside you a day, I only help you to spoil it up. What I gave is placebo. I said, you can do it the next time instead of you calling me and wasting my time. And you know, abroad people can talk. Oh, no. Instead of you calling me and wasting my time, do what I have taught you next time when you are discouraged. Speak into water and drink it. So, when I look up to the sky, and I call the sun, and I say, we have only one sun in our universe, but it reaches every part of this universe. So my voice will reach every ear of mankind. Have I cursed anybody? Have I called the name of Jesus? I understand how sun operate. I understood all the cosmic forces of nature. Only the thing I did was to decree. And decree comes with fact. You don't say faith. You use fact to decree. How much fact have you gathered about the sun? How much fact do you know about the moon? How much fact do you know about the stars? That's why you have to learn. That's why you don't need to reduce your intelligence to Bible or Quran alone. Read about other things that surround you. So I wake up in the morning and there's dew. Dew is falling in the morning. And I make a decree and say, as the dew fall without any noise, any sound, any stress, without struggles, so shall life fall unto me in pleasant places today as I go out. Have I decreed? Did I call the name of Jesus? Was I praying to any God? No. I used my knowledge of nature to fine-tune my own life and my expectation. We have the moon. Instead of me to worship the moon, all I do is the moon reflects the light even to the most blind person, even in the night. Wherever I get to, my darkness will be a light to other people. What that means is that while they think everyone is dark, even my state of darkness will be illumination to other people's life. What have I done? Have I called Jesus? Have I prayed to God? I have not. I have simply stated a fact and I made a decree because I have the mentality that I am a God also. And do you know what happened? With my words, I create my reality. So I have a child that is not well behaved, and I pick him or her, put my hands on his head, and tell him, I do not know how you're going to figure it out, but you see, you will do well in life. You will not be ashamed. You will not choose the wrong path. You will not be a disgrace. I am your father, and I have authority on this planet, in the universe. With that same authority and with the power in my tongue, I decree unto you this child, you will not be useless. See, apart from the fact that the water in that child's body is listening all the time, what I'm doing is that I'm pouring my emotion and my mind and my mouth in one singular direction. So when others are saying there is a casting down, I'm saying there is a lifting up. Understand what you read. If you don't understand, ask people who are not looking for your money. They will tell you the true meaning without bias. So I was in a gathering, told them, you can pray without using the name of Jesus. They were so confused. So the second day I went to that same gathering, and I made some decree, and they agreed to it. And after a few minutes, I said, have we mentioned Jesus? They say no. Have I said God? Say no. I said, do you believe what I said? They say yes. I said, that's prayer. While the prayer you were taught as religious person is to keep looking for someone to come and do it for you, a decree in a seeker's perspective is a human being becoming a God and doing it for themselves. Now imagine how many years you have spent, how many minutes you have spent on this planet. Imagine you have used it to put your emotion, your mind, and your mouth in the direction you want to go to. You would have been there, you would have surpassed that place now. But you think if you don't get to the expressway, if you don't go to the mountain, if you don't get to the valley, you can, if you don't fast, if you don't pray, if you don't starve yourself, if you don't see your pastor, if you don't use this and that, you cannot have authority. And look at what your life has turned out for you. I wish I could go on and on and on and on. But this is what I would beseech you. Kindly join the Seekers group on Telegram. 1 million seekers on Telegram. Just search for 1 million seekers on Telegram and join the group. There are people who know better than I do there. They will share resources with you, first to decluster you from this old of religion and then to spur you into become what you are intended to be. See, every little thing that I come out to say to you is just like a 0.1% out of 1 million percentage of the things that a seeker knows. And the style of being with them to change them will not work. You have to pull out to change yourself first. Until then, you can't see the light in this way. All of these things I know. Not because I'm into occultic practice, not because I consulted someone specially, but because I chose to move away from everything religion does and ask myself, come, this life, how can I without? And I saw that I'm even more effective without the name of Jesus. I'm more effective without looking into the sky or the hill looking for help. You can be more effective than that. I hope people of the next dispensation or generation will come to reality in the age of the Aquarius to come and be God again. To come and be God again. To come and be God again. So I beseech you today, in lieu of the mercy you can give to yourself, enough of consulting others. It's high time you begin to become the consultant of yourself. You can divine for yourself. You can look into the future for yourself. You can peep and you can dictate the tune of your life the moment your emotion, your mind, and your mouth align together in a thing. Just to inform you, The emotion, the mind, the mouth are neutral tools for every man to use. So you can use them either negatively to defeat yourself and to defeat others, or positively to enhance yourself and enhance others. Because when your emotion is negative towards a thing, your mindset for that thing is going to be negative. And you cannot fake with your mouth what your mind and your emotion does not agree to. If you are angry about the situation, you want to change it, you don't have to be positive about it. Be negative about that situation. Let negative force meet negative force. Let the best force win. So you think someone cursed you, you need to bring about a different kind of emotion against it. Not against the person, but against the words spoken to you. You can break the curse for yourself. You can break this decree for yourself. It's a battle of words. If they are gods, you are God also. So this power you have been given, or you have in you, are neutral. How you use it is solely dependent on you. But don't forget the prerequisite you need to follow. And if you have a better way, why not explore that method also? I don't know it all. If you know it better than I do, I'm willing to learn from you. But thus far, this is what has worked for me. Mindset of a God, emotion of positivity, confession of what I want. All of them make up a decree because I walk in authority. Thank you very much for listening. And to our Christian friends all over the world, what you celebrate today is Easter, not Easter. I don't want to tell you not to celebrate it yet. It's the 12th of April, 2020, the year of the global pandemic of coronavirus. I will be moving out now to give food to the Christians who are homeless, who are hungry out there. Let's just give them something to be happy about. And we hope their light will come and they'll be changed as time goes on. If you have anyone around you, celebrate with them. Give them something to eat. Share money with them. Help them see the light. Let's keep them alive enough to put them into the truth. And don't you ever forget, either they are Muslim or Christian or pagan or whatever you call them, they are first of all human beings. And your duty as a person is to do humanity, not to be extraordinary. Your duty as a person is first of all to do humanity. The duty of an animal to do is to do animal. The duty of a plant is to be a plant. The duty of human being is not to rule over others, is to do humanity. And in doing humanity, you're becoming a god in their situation. Namaste. And have an awesome time. Don't forget to share this with as many people as possible and also join us on YouTube, Greatman Ayilara on YouTube. Bye for now.